All right, so now we're going to talk about coterminal angles. I know I mentioned them before, but now we're going to officially define what a coterminal angle is. Now, what you would expect, right, is the coterminal angles share a terminal side. Now, they also share an initial side too if they're in standard position, right? So if they're in standard position, coterminal angles just share a terminal side. And so essentially you can get coterminal angles when you go around the circle more than once. So for example, so let's say, or we go around the coordinate plane, I guess, maybe. So for example, we have, let's say we know where the quadrant angles are, right? Now, so this is, say, 90 degrees, right? Now, I can go around once and another quarter of a rotation. And I have an angle, what would that be? It would be 360 plus 90 would be 450 degrees. And those two angles share a terminal side, right? The initial side is always the positive x-axis, but the terminal side here is the same. Okay, they're at the same spot in standard position. Okay, they share a terminal side. And so we can take any angle and add 360 degrees to it, and you're going to get a coterminal angle, right? So you're just rotating that terminal side a full rotation, and it's back to where it was before. All right, now in radians, you would add 2 pi any number of times to the angle in radians, and then you would get a coterminal angle. So in general, we can define coterminal angles. We can find coterminal angles by taking an angle and adding or subtracting 360 degrees any number of times. So we have, for an angle in degrees, we can take that angle and add 360 times k, where k is an integer. So if you remember, an integer is just just a whole number that could be either positive or negative or 0, right? So like 1, 2, 3, 4, or negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, So whole numbers that are either positive or negative. And in radians, we can find coterminal angles by taking the angle and adding 2 pi times k, where k is an integer. So we're just basically adding a full rotation any number of times. So, we're going to, for this next example, it says to find a positive angle less than 360 degrees, or 2 pi radians, depending on, whether the angle starts out in radians or degrees, that is coterminal with each of the following. All right, so the first angle is 840 degrees. All right, so now I know that's definitely bigger than 360 degrees. So that's once around the circle. Twice around the circle would be 720 degrees. So let's start by just subtracting 720 degrees and see what we have left. All right, so if I subtract 720 degrees, it looks like we're going to get 120 degrees left. Okay, so all I did was subtract. This is just 2. This is just 2 times. This is 360 times 2, right? I just subtracted a full rotation twice, so this should be a coterminal angle. And okay, so that's it. So 120 degrees is between 0 and 360. So my answer is 120 degrees is coterminal with 840 degrees. All right. All right, so the next one is 135 degrees. All right, now I need an angle that's coterminal with 135 degrees, but I want it to be positive. So let's just add 360 degrees because we need a positive angle. We'll just add it once. Let's see where we end up. So if we add 360 degrees to a negative 135, okay, we're going to end up with, let's see, this is going to be 225 degrees, okay? All right, so we're at 225 degrees. So that seems to work, right? So that's between 0 and 360. Now we could visualize that, right? If we look at, we just kind of draw those two angles, right? So a negative 135. Now this is a negative 90. This would be a negative 180. So it's over here. It's 45 degrees beyond a negative 90, right? So this angle right here would be a negative 135. Okay, degrees. Oops, I want to put 180 over here. All right, so now the 225 degree angle, again, measured from the positive x-axis, right? 225 is more than a positive 180. So we can see right now that positive 180 is coterminal with negative 180, right? This is positive 90. So we're bigger than 180, and it looks like if we added 45 degrees to a positive 180, we'd be at 225. So the 225 is measured in the positive direction, 225 degrees, okay? And they're coterminal with each other, okay? So that's just a little visualization of what this looks like. All right, so the answer is 225 degrees. All right, so now we have an angle in radians. Okay, now I listed out radians, but again, like I said, if it doesn't give a unit for an angle, you can assume that it's in radians. All right, so now 9 pi over 4. All right, that's bigger than 2 pi, right? Because 2 pi is equivalent to 8 pi over 4, and we've got 9 pi over 4. So let's just subtract off, right? 9 pi over 4. And we're going to subtract 2 pi. But I need a common denominator when I subtract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 8 pi over 4, right? That's just 2 pi. All right? But it's just, I'm going to subtract a fraction. So I need a common denominator. So what do I get? I get pi over 4. Okay? So pi over 4 is coterminal with 9 pi over 4. All right, we got one more here. Negative 7 pi over 6. So let's write that down. 7 pi over 6. All right. Now, that one's negative, right? So let's add 2 pi, and hopefully that'll make it positive. All right, now 2 pi. So now my denominator is 6. So 2 pi is the same as 12 pi over 6, right? That's still 2 pi. And so if I take the negative 7 pi over 6 and add 12 pi over 6, I'm going to end up with 5 pi over 6. Okay, now that's between 0 and 2 pi, because 5/6 of a pi is less than 2. So 5 pi over 6 is coterminal with a negative 7 pi over 6. All right. And so I think that's all I have for you right now for this section. So I will meet you in class.